cool. All right, let's get into it.
Cool. All right, sweet. Hello, hi. How are we doing? Introductions.
Welcome to episode 3 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week I'm joined by the ever technically minded Cameron.
Hey.
And our special guest for the week, GamesOfDAYNE, Tony.
How we going?
This week we're going to talk about we'll touch on some more controversy because it didn't just end last week, surprisingly. We'll talk about how certain people have been, how a few of us in this podcast are hitting that milestone that we really need to be at to really be on this show.
All right, cool. Thanks.
And then we'll talk a little bit about Halo and Gears and all those Xbox favorites. But without any further ado, Cameron's going to seamlessly transition us to a song of the week that I recorded, but it's probably going to be quite loud. So be a little bit careful, guys.
All right,
but you should get it.
Give me 2 seconds. Oh, it's lagging like all hell.
I'm tilted, I'm raging, you know I'm trying so hard. It feels like it's not over, but this is one game I can't do. I don't know, why does games do this to me? I don't know, racing games, the speed away, and 2D fighters kick my asses all day. You won't see me playing my roguelites, cause I'm still working on my backlog. I don't know, why do games do this to me?
Alright, cool. Let me swap back over. Alright, I don't know why that was lagging really badly then. First out of the gate, I have no idea.
Oh, really? You have no idea?
I was busy updating the title of the episode.
Okay.
But nice singing, as always.
Thank you.
I have no idea, though.
Okay. Does anyone in chat? I'll give you a moment. Charlotte says she knows. Peony knows apparently.
Did she just veer over your shoulder while you were writing this?
Yes, basically.
Okay,
I wish she had to listen to me while I recorded it, so she'll know it.
I'm noticing a trend too, Allison, of jumping in the chat in like the first 20 minutes, either getting yourself banned or calling out Song of the Week.
Yeah. All right. Charlotte, what's the song and who's the band? Because I think most people know the song, but I don't know if everyone will know the band.
Waiting in eager anticipation.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see it. Oh, there we go. Yes, it is. Why Is Love Do This to Me by the Exponents, famous New Zealand band, but it was one of their, I won't say one-hit wonder, but it was definitely their most popular song. You'll have heard it mostly in ads and stuff, but it's once you go on Spotify and look it up.
In my defense, I've never heard of that band or that song title.
Yeah, but that doesn't surprise me. I don't know. Tony, do you know the Exponents?
No, I do not.
All right.
Thank you.
That's a shame. All right, fine. Okay, I will admit defeat on this one.
If you play some Fallout Boy or some Panic at the Disco or something past the year 2000.
The problem is you don't want to hear me singing Fallout Boy or
I know you ruined my favorite bands for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a I don't want to do that to you. I need to keep you on the show. I wouldn't if it's a one-man show. I don't think it would go very well. Anyway, let's get into the housekeeping. We've got a Discord, the GPN Discord, discord.io/GPNGG. We've got our own section on there for the podcast where we have the podcast itself. We have a bit of chat going on, place for you to ask questions, as well as our word challenge. For those who don't know, the word challenge is where I pick a game, usually a bit of an obscure one, and I set up a bot that will play a GIF once someone correctly guesses the full title of that game. Now we had our winner last week with Keo. He managed to guess "Pimp My Ride," with only 2 clues, which is very impressive. So the clues were that it was the first clue was music, and the second clue was that it was a licensed property. And I picked the worst GIF of exhibit that I could possibly find for that. So congratulations, you've won your $20, mate. If you haven't already hassled Shadow for it, make sure you do that.
He's been paid.
Oh, good, he's been paid.
Unlike former hosts of this from previous shows, I get it done on time.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he's very surprised. But we want to keep that going forward. Because we do appreciate all the support we get for the show through subscribers on Twitch here and Patreon that allow us to do prizes and giveaways, and also keep the lights on and allow us to deal with distribution costs and recording and all that kind of stuff for equipment.
I do believe he's using that money towards Death's Door as well, which is a worthy investment.
Great game. Fantastic game. Also, speaking of the Patreon, we're in the middle of recording Lights, Camera, and Action, Episode 5, which is Assassin's Creed. So we recorded the first part, and we're going to be watching the movie. I found a copy of the movie and was about to start watching it, and then I realized that part of this movie is set during the Spanish Inquisition. So a lot of people are speaking Spanish, of which I do not speak, and I did not have subtitles. So I had to go back to the drawing board on that one a little bit. I was going to get a Duolingo set up, but I decided not to.
Me and Nikita too also went out and bought some other future titles today.
Oh god,
So
yeah, okay. So Sonic the Hedgehog,
Mortal Kombat. I've actually watched this one. That one's good.
Yep.
Boss level.
I don't know if that counts as a video game.
I'm counting it. And then Harry Potter mod with guns.
The Guns Akimbo, yeah, okay, that's definitely not a video game movie. We've got a lot of trash to get through before we start, but for those Patreon, essentially what we do is we about maybe once or twice a month we record a show that's based on a video game movie. Cameron and I will sit down and talk a bit about the what it's based on, what we know about the movie already. We'll watch the trailer and talk about the game itself that it's based on. So for Assassin's Creed, we talked a little bit about the history of Assassin's Creed and how it's changed over the years, and kind of how where this movie fits into that, whether the movies are part of that universe and they fit seamlessly in, or whether it's basically just like the name slapped on a movie that doesn't have anything else to do with it, or somewhere in between. But I'm actually quite looking forward to watching Assassin's Creed. I'm going to do that probably after this. But yeah, so if you want to listen to those episodes, the first 4 episodes are free on our Patreon, patreon.com/Hall of Gamers. That's the URL, right, Cameron?
I believe so.
Yes.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll double check it.
But basically, you can listen to the first 4 episodes free, and then from there on, we're going to be trying to squeeze blood out of the stone for the rest of them. Cameron, how are things going with the stream?
So in terms of getting the achievement plugins to work, I've had no luck as of yet, but I have figured out how to use Twitch panels now and make some little custom colorful ones. So if you visit to our about on our Twitch, you'll see all these lovely little achievement logos and description, rules, that kind of stuff, etc.
Please go and look at them, because Cameron did actually put some time and effort into it, which is, I'm surprised, but it does look.
Surprisingly, I got them done in like 5-10 minutes. The most of it's trying to position them.
Shut up! You
Twitch positioning is the worst.
Fair.
The logos are fun. And then the other thing we should probably just elaborate on is the launch date for GPM, which will be August 3rd at 6:30 CST.
Yes. Yep. So we're very excited for that. Cam, yeah, we've had a little bit of a peek at what the website's going to look like, and we're very, very excited. We can't really say much more than that, but it's only a few days away, so I'm sure you guys will be patient. All right, Cameron. Right. So let's anyway. That's the housekeeping out of the way. Let's have a chat with our guest here. Yep. Returning from our IGS days, Tony, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Have you been, you haven't been working that hard, right? Taking it easy, just kind of chilling out for the last couple of, months or so since we spoke to you?
It's been a pretty casual couple of months, the last 4 weeks especially, just, relaxing, taking it slow.
Oh, as you do, I get it. Once you get that million, it doesn't really matter anymore. You're just kind of better than everyone else. So
I don't know about that. I wouldn't say that. you can. No,
but I'll say that. That's for other people to say. You don't normally have to say that about yourself.
God, we really want to cause waves in the achievement community in the worst way, don't we?
I mean, To be fair, there's only like a couple of 100,000 of them that I have to fight off. It's not that bad.
How many is there? I guess that's what we should first talk about. So Tony has hit 1,000,010.
And 10, yes. That fateful 10.
So there's a few things I want to talk about. First one is, how many people are actually in the 1 million club now? Have we hit
over like 400?
400
true achievements.
Jeez.
I know. I was
Crazy.
surprised too. I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah, neither. I mean, like I'm sitting at 1.6, and like I still remember getting my my million and stuff, and I was like, yeah, like it was an exclusive group, relatively exclusive anyway, but yeah, I'm kind of yeah.
Yeah, last I checked, it was like, I think 100 and... I think X, the hero, H101, had... His was like 150th or 160th. And yeah, that was like only what felt like a few months ago.
Yeah, so it's been growing by leaps and bounds, I suppose. But I mean, everyone's getting very, very competitive. Everyone's enjoying their Zidalons and their Radalikas, along with all the big stuff too. I mean,
Except me.
Well, yeah, but that's because you'll play anything, and you'll play anything, you'll never finish anything. It's a big difference.
Oh, you'll be surprised.
Yeah, I probably will be.
So I guess with that, I wouldn't know the feeling, but what does 1 million feel like? And do you want to talk about the insane amount of what I would call crunch to get there in a month?
Well, I am, first of all, able to admit that I think I'm certainly riding the wave of the easy million era, which is why we're talking about. You knew someone that was 150 or something, and I think I saw 380 in the comments just there before. I know I certainly haven't had to work as hard for the last stretch as the OGs, but it's still awesome. Awesome from about 4 or 5 years ago, where I really set my eyes on 1 million. Certainly amazing to have that done, conquered, and just freedom to tackle that backlog now is super exciting. It's been sitting there waiting, growing for years, knowing they'll never get played until 1 million.
Yep.
And now I don't know where to start. I didn't even really play for a day or two. Played about an hour or two the day after, then had a complete day off.
It's almost like work when it gets to that point, though, right? Like you can find a job that you love and is a part of your passion project, but it's still, you got to put the hours in and the time and that kind of stuff. And it also works on the other, right? Like if you got something like this that is a hobby that it's supposed to be something for enjoyment, you get this competitive and this into. It's like it still becomes an element of work to it.
Yeah, I think last time I was on, I might have mentioned I chose July and December when I started my new job and figured out that I have Fridays off and stuff. I picked a month with the most amount of Fridays. And that's why I slowed down earlier in the year. I didn't want to make it too easy when July rolled around. So that's why I didn't try and get to 850 or 900 or something by the end of June. I left it so I had to get over 200,000, which was another personal record I wanted to smash. So I think I started at like 787 or something was where I clocked in at the 30th of June. So I wanted to make sure it was a little bit of a challenge, but I knew the types of games I had, it was still going to be kind of a cakewalk.
Well, I mean, yes and no, right? Like, and we
it's still a lot of time to put in.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like even if the games are piss easy, and we talked about this last time when you were on RGS, right? Is that like you still have to find the hours in the day to be a human being, even if you're going to play. Someone looks at the list and say, oh, I've got 100, 2-hour games in there that I could run through. That's still 200 hours. Like, where are you going to find that time? Like, it's like I totally get it, because I've had the itch a little bit, because last time you were on, we talked a bit about how I did my push, my big push around the Hall of Fame stuff.
I wish I'd done it then.
There would have been, yes, right? And then it was like, okay, I needed to take a break from it. But now people are like, actually, these Eidolon stuffs are getting pretty easy, and they've got a big collection and a lot of title updates, and people are pushing. And then also people are starting to push past me on the leaderboards, and I'm like, starting to notice myself drop a little bit. I'm thinking maybe I should get back into this stuff. But then I have to like be like, if I do get back into it, I can't do it like I used to.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my question for you, right? Like, do you have I'm doubting you're going to be like, okay, cool, I got my million, I'm cold turkey. I'm not interested in achievement hunting anymore, right? Because but I imagine you're probably not going to be like, okay, cool, 2 million, let's just start pushing towards it, same speed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely not done with the hunt for good, for sure. Pondering, I'd originally decided to have the million and then just leave it be for a while, possibly even the rest of the year, like just chill out.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I don't have that level of restraint in me.
I'm with you.
So I'm going to try and, not go cold turkey, but try and phase out a little bit and try and make sure I'm prioritizing most of my time to actually playing stuff that I want to. New releases, Game Pass. What I do eyeball, though, is there's only some 600,000 between me and the number one in Australia, so that's a pretty tasty milestone to...
Yeah.
But I don't want to leave the hunt for too long because we'll grow proportionately together if I don't make a move.
Everyone's on the treadmill. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably take August, September off, get this little new release season started, and then I'll just start going on a rampage again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's on the treadmill except for me staring in the back eating the donuts.
Trust me, mate, you might be the smart one in this case. We had a question come in from the chat from Piani that wants to know, Tony, why the push versus just a steady build-up? Like, what was the impetus, for those who don't know, around why you decided to make this big thing?
Just not interested in the steady build-up.
Yeah.
After what I thought were big months a couple of years ago, which we talked about last time, a 50k month and a 60k month, and then the 140 last year, I definitely wanted to smash 200. Mm-hmm. And I knew, since I'd been saving games since nearly this time last year, that now's probably the best time I'm going to have to pile them all up, smash 2 personal goals and milestones in a single month. And if I was to do a steady build-up, I'd have to more regularly play those sorts of games. And I've been trying to, for the first half of this year, smash out more reviews instead of gamerscore. Try and prioritize that side of things, knowing that the gamerscore, the longer I left it, the easier it was going to be to accumulate a ridiculous amount in a short amount of time. I knew it would fix itself without me having to constantly chip away at it.
For sure.
So it was a decision, to try and keep me on my toes enough to make sure I wasn't too slack by putting it over 200.
With 200k in a month, how do you plan yourself around that? Do you just take them on Monster Energy drinks and stay up all night getting games? I took the opportunity. I saw it. Or do you meticulously plan each day ahead as to what you're doing? I've seen on Twitter you're doing the thread of everybody's guide that you're using, which is great in terms of giving all the other content creators this attention as well. But was it just a case of you just pushing for the sake of pushing, or just planning that out, making sure that each day you knew exactly what you were going for, and I guess budgeting your time in that way?
I had done what I am very good at, is I made a plan and then I decided I didn't want to follow my plan. So
Yep.
I was penciled in. The amount of games I haven't hit yet are insane that I was saving. I was thinking of going ludicrous, like 350.
Jeez.
300 odd. I played 2 games this month and I got 213k when I hit the million, and only, other than 2 Minecraft stacks, only 2 of them took me an hour. I haven't even hit my hour-long completions yet.
Jesus Christ.
Everything I played this month was... I've been saving the Zidalon updates forever. I didn't even think about all the Zidalon updates that were coming in July. Otherwise, I would have saved my 70k first day, 70,200, I think it was, on July 1. I would have saved that for like today.
Yeah, right.
Because all these updates came out afterwards, which would have made it a cheeky but very easy 100 plus in a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, of non-stop 5-minute games. Yeah.
And okay, so
I decided to throw the plan out the window and just go nuts on the first day. And if we looked at my true achievements stats graph, you'll see there's a couple of days I didn't even play. Or a couple of days I popped 1,000 or 2 in, 10, 20-minute games, and then just thought, I've got enough of a head start, it's going to work itself out.
Yeah.
So I got lazy, had big plans, and then got lazy on day one.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think you can say you got lazy on day one when you had 70,000 in a single day. I think that's, considering that, when I look at the stuff I used to do, it was about, 100,000 a year would be good. I mean,
exactly. That's what I mean. I'm riding the easy million era. Now, with all the Zidalon games and stuff, you could probably pop almost 100k in a day just off their games with both stacks.
Yeah.
All of them worth 2, 3, 4, soon to be 5,000. It's going to be even easier for people to get. 100k is not going to be a massive day in 6 months or a year's time anymore for people that haven't played those.
I mean, if you get the money now, 100k is, it's just knowing the developer. Knowing the publisher.
Well, yeah, publisher. Yeah. Right.
But I guess my next question would be, in terms of quality, like, do you feel like in terms of, sure, you get the game score, but in terms of your aspect of gaming, do you think that time could have been better well spent, or did you enjoy anything that you were surprised about, or was it basically just shovelware?
So I've got the list up in front of me because having played, what are we talking? I played 176 games from July 1 until the million.
Yeah.
So
when exactly did you hit the million? What day?
The 27th.
Yeah.
27th. Monday.
Right. Yep.
The journey down chapter 2 and 3, I really enjoy those. I'd been saving them for just such an occasion, so that I did have something I knew I enjoyed chapter 1. I wanted to guarantee I was going to enjoy something, and point and clicks they're my jam. But there was nothing outlandishly terrible. I'd say I was happy enough playing through pretty much everything except for the Neo Geos. I don't have the skills to, I can easily pull in half of, 400 or 500 or so, but there's not very many I complete. I'm just not arcade equipped.
I mean, anything with the name Neo should be easily avoided, right?
No.
There's no need
Thank you.
for that.
I was waiting for that. You fucking dickhead. Yeah, but I'm totally with you on the Neo Geo stuff, right? Like, I've got maybe 4 titles left in my backlog of those, and I'm just like, I picked them up because they were on sale once, and I was like, oh, people say they're easy, and they've got a very slow completion time, but it's like, fuck, you actually have to, like, I think everyone who played those were this, people who had already played them in the past, right? And they were like, oh, hey, I'm nostalgic for this thing. I still remember how all of it works. And I'm like, how do I Samurai Showdown? I don't know how this works. I'm just getting my ass handed to me.
Yeah, those were, I'd say, the least enjoyable, mostly because I just sucked and had no control over how much gamer score I was going to be able to rake in. Everything, all the Zidalon ones, I've found an odd satisfaction in kicking back and playing some Butterfly. And Butterfly too, those little puzzle ones. Some of them are really not that bad. I was kind of surprised how
out of all the ones I was expecting to hear, Butterfly was not one of them.
Butterfly, I don't know. It's all right. I will happily tune in for the next updates and be just happy to just sit there and mind my own business and work through it. I don't know, something sort of relaxing about those sorts of puzzle games that aren't too hard, but simple enough, fast enough.
I mean, that's a really good approach and a good mindset to have, right? Because if you're playing absolute complete shovelware that you hate, it's going to be that much more difficult to do.
Yeah, and like I'm looking at the list now, like pretty much every genre. There's visual novels, there's them beat 'em ups and stuff. There's all the crypto, bunch of those Palgi or Palgi, not sure how it's pronounced.
Is there any that like
It's
just
good.
surprised the hell out of you? Like this is AAA level quality in a shovelware game.
You know the answer to that.
I did not play anything that resembled a AAA title in July.
You know what I mean though, like
Gamerscore
something that just like completely caught you off guard. Just like, wow, more people need to be talking about this.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that.
Okay.
I know last year with the 140k month, I think I mentioned it last time. There was one called Heinrich.
Yeah, which is a good game.
Yeah, that one like really surprised. Not saying it's AAA level, but that one really surprised me for how good it was compared to the easiness. Yeah, but no, I didn't have that this month. Looking at that, no, I didn't. I done my fair share of Windows 10 stacks of things, so it was playing the same thing twice in some cases, and as Zidalon was rolling out those updates for, it was Xbox one day and then Windows 10 the next, or a week apart or whatever.
Yeah,
a little bit of repetition set in, not just in the same games with the same stacks, but certainly the same types of games started appearing.
Did you save any like mods in terms of like surviving Mars or?
I done them last time. The ones I did save, I saved. Actually, before I get to that, I did do the Series X stack for In Rays of the Light.
Oh right.
Oh
yeah,
true.
I really liked that one.
That only just recently came out, yeah.
Yeah, the 16th or 17th of the month or something. And the Xbox One version was earlier this year. So that was probably the most enjoyable game I played in July, even though it was one I'd already played before. But yeah, some of those mod ones I done. I'd already done Surviving Mars last time, so I done a bit of Elder Scrolls, done a bit of Fallout 4, done the Starbound.
Yep.
That was about it. I missed out on Pathologic 2. I didn't realize that had left Game Pass, unfortunately. I looked everywhere to buy it, and I'll not going to pay $45
that's
to
fair.
do that. So not too many of those mod ones. Console commands for like Subnautica 2. I've done some of that, but no, those proper mod ones, only a handful.
No, like
3 or 4.
install the game for 5 minutes and then just pop all the achievements, walk away, make yourself a coffee.
No.
He had to load up another
done.
game at the same time, right? If he was doing that, he hasn't got 5 minutes to spare. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's right. I did leave Minecraft on a couple of times doing its thing, or The Walking Dead popped a few achievements.
Oh
on,
yeah, gameplay itself. Yeah,
just 20G here and there, just for going off, go to the toilet, grab a drink.
We had a question in the chat from Charlotte actually asking about what was the achievement that got you over the million line.
That's kind of a bittersweet situation. The one that got me over the line was the one that should have got me there on the line. It was a 20 gamer score achievement in Restless Night from Chili Dog Interactive, where they ran a thing on Twitter where they would randomly select 50 people who retweeted and commented. They would name the 50 achievements after us players, and I luckily managed to get drawn as one of the people for that. So the achievement that took me over the line was, this one is for GamesOfDAYNE, which was a appropriate one. I thought
that's amazing. That's a great one.
So I noticed that there's another achievement in the game called "This One's for Shadowless Edge."
Yeah.
Any particular reason why you didn't use that one?
I think it was a typo. I think that's probably unobtainable, mate. It's unfortunate.
I had everything lined up perfectly for that 20 gamer score. I wasted about 2 or 3 hours playing various games to make sure I got to 999980.
Yeah.
And I got to 998, and I was like, I left it for a bit. I was like, okay, it's good. Popped another neat 1,000, and it was set. 20 gamer score away. The next morning, when I just jump on the Xbox app, 10 gamer score has magically appeared. I've gone through all my achievements. I don't know where it's come from. Every achievement is accounted. Every achievement is accounted for. I've been sadly keeping a spreadsheet as well as true achievements to. As I was getting closer, I had to make sure that what I was playing was not going to foil the 1 million.
Yeah.
And 10 has appeared from somewhere that I can't find. And so instead of landing on 1 million on the dot, I landed, as Cameron has enjoyed pointing out, at 1,000,010.
Now, normally this is the part where I gotta tell you that you fucked it and you gotta start it all over again. But to be fair, I think in this situation that's some high grade bullshit, and you were very, very intentional about it. So I think we'll give you a pass.
I was as calculated as I could possibly be to make sure my own achievement was the very last 20 Gs I needed. I'm a little upset on the inside about that. But hey, if I was to start all over again, it's never been easier. Get 1 million games.
Sure. It'll only take you like 5 months now. Like,
there you go.
By the end of the year, it'll be 1.
Yeah, I think I could give Jixpo a run for his money. I think a 500k month with a side account. And I've thought long and hard about this, but I'm not going to do it. I think 1 million now with a fresh account. 2021 is the time to do it.
I think when Games Done Quick or something along those lines comes around again, we should all just set up a second account so you can be the highest.
I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be me. So good luck.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play that game either.
Oh, that'd be rough. It's
I mean, everybody just has to back out for me to win it.
I tell you win by default, mate. That's the thing. Yeah, it's just a false start. There's a few people. Yeah, Kirby in the chat said he had a similar problem with his one, with his 10. And I remember when I did, I think my 1.5, I think I'd done the same thing. I'd meticulously planned it. I was like, okay, this, okay, this is the thing. And it was like, was it Mr. Masagi Mayo edition? Like I always try to pick some, I try to pick some terrible fucking game for it. And I got all the achievements and I put it into TA, loaded it, and it was like, yeah, you're 10 off. I'm like, are you fucking, like, what? Yeah. How did I thought I was like, I've been doing this for years. How did I fuck this up? Thankfully so my 10 showed up later and that put me at the right amount.
Maybe I've got your 10.
Yeah, I was
Maybe
you're
responsible.
Exactly, it might be my fault. That's what I'm saying. I was like, there's a mystery 10 gamer score that apparently we're all just sharing around, and we've got such high totals that we just don't know where it's coming from. It's the quantum particle of achievement hunting.
So I guess with that too, last question. Before Restless Night was released, you obviously probably been playing this for a while. Did you have any other ideas what your achievement was going to be?
I had been set for a long time on one from Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Oh,
okay. That was my plan for the longest time. It was the first game I ever played. It was the first game I ever finished, as like a 4-year-old. So I thought that would be the perfect little sort of full circle, my earliest gaming moment to like the one I've chased the longest. It would be so cool if it was one in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And it was going to be the either Chaos Master for getting all the Chaos Emeralds, so easy as well, which would have been nice. Or I think the other one was called Supersonic, for becoming Supersonic for the first time. So they were nostalgia ones, and then I went with Vanity in the end.
Hey mate, there's always the next million, you can always just circle back.
That's right.
So I guess in terms of, for those who don't know, in terms of what outside of the ridiculous game score numbers that you put up, and you've been showing up on our Hall of Gamers leaderboard as well quite a bit over the last couple of weeks.
You're welcome for that. Yep.
Cameron and I haven't been showing up on it for some reason, so whatever.
We haven't been doing Zidons.
No, it's true. Well, actually, I did a couple of them, and I was like, I can't play this game anymore. So what else do you do for those who don't know about you, Ben? What kind of what's your background? What have you been doing outside of the big gamer score hunting stuff?
So it's pretty much been for the last 4 or 5 years a split shift situation of pumping that gamer score and writing reviews. Is my primary game situation. Sadly, I don't actually play a whole lot, simply for the fun of it. I'm sort of following the new release schedule and Game Pass's release schedule, and then fitting in these easy gamer score ones in between. I've been sitting on, a lot that I really want to play, but the completion time was a bit nasty, or, it was going to take a bit more effort or time, and I wanted to save those to properly enjoy them without putting it off, because I don't want to play a game knowing I'm having to watch the gamer score, watch the achievements. I wanted to be free of that and properly enjoy it like the good old days.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, that's good. So you're going to try and get back to a bit more of that now, I suppose. We'll try and find a bit more of a balance now you've hit the million, or have you got a plan? Have you considered it? Oh. No? Oh, you lost it? Oh, some technical issues.
All right, we're gonna swap back to 2-person for a second.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All right, he'll be back. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't know what just happened then. It's all good.
No worries. We'll continue on then. All right. Well,
his headset died.
Oh, fantastic timing! Fantastic. That's going to play so well for our audio listeners. I love it.
It's just like, what's happening? What? Okay, cool. It's fine. He'll come back and it'll be all good. All right. So I guess with that, do we want to jump into the news?
Yeah, let's just roll through some of it.
Cool.
We've got a little bit of bite-sized stuff this week, but I'll pull out what we've got. So last week we talked a little bit about the Activision Blizzard controversy that was going on with the lawsuits, and we talked a little bit in detail around like what's been said there, and kind of how people have been reacting, especially on the Blizzard and Activision side, where there's been a lot of solidarity from developers, and also the very tone-deaf response. They've also, Bobby Kotick has come out basically admitting that it was a very tone-deaf response, and that they're going to try and do some other stuff. But in response to this, there was a big petition signed had over 1,000 signatures of both Blizzard and Activision employees and ex-employees and other people wanting to support them. They had a walkout, and and so it's they're hoping to see some change, because this has obviously been a long-going issue. And then so in what seems like the most dystopian move I've seen in a while, we also got a report today that Activision has hired some union-busting lawyers group, a union-busting group, to basically say, okay, well, we're going to bring in to assess the situation, which is not even code for, okay, yeah, well, clearly we need to sort this shit out and try and minimize risk to the company. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be touching on it every now and then in terms of stuff that comes out of this, but there isn't too much more to say about it other than that.
2 words: tone deaf, and that's it.
Pretty much, right? It's and it feels kind of like they're just they've completely fucked it, and they just basically they're doing everything wrong. Yeah. So, for a bit of a transition, hey Dane, you with us still? No?
I'm back. Technical
Fantastic.
difficulties have been resolved. I'm so sorry for that.
No problem. So with that, we've also got a report here from Ubisoft. So last week we also mentioned that Ubisoft is no stranger to controversy. They've had some similar issues, maybe not quite to the same extent, but Yves Guillemot has come out and basically in a open letter. Basically came out and said that they've made some changes, and they've promised to make some more changes, and that they've made important progress, quote unquote, since the harassment scandal last year. But it's basically this is happening on the heels of the Activision Blizzard stuff, basically saying that another open letter has been made by some Ubisoft employees saying not enough has been changed. Ubisoft has said in a brief response that they have deep respect for the engagement of our teams who are pushing the changes within our industry and supports their efforts to create a greater and safer and more inclusive workplace for all employees. But it didn't actually get into detail about what had actually been done or how it planned to make any of the changes. But now, thankfully,
Hey, like last week.
Yeah, basically, right. That's the thing. It was very much like, oh, okay, yeah. So what are you actually doing?
Statement in action.
Yeah, exactly. But Guillemot has come out yesterday basically saying, hey, we've made some important progress over the year. They've implemented some new anonymous reporting tools, revamped their AHR process in terms of how to new policies, global policies for discrimination, retaliation, harassment, new code of conduct. Again, a lot of that stuff that you would expect them to be doing at the bare minimum. Yeah. But they admit that there's still more to be done, and they've had over 300 listening sessions that took place over the last year, along with a survey and a global audit. It does, seem to remain to be seen about whether this is going to have the impact that they want. But it does seem like it's a very sort of aggressive approach to this. Like they definitely seem to be at least saying the right things and talking about actions that they've made. It's a bit of a shame that it took them this long to be called out for them to actually do any of this stuff, but but again, it's not all sunshine and roses. They've done this thing where they've been reassigning leaders rather than getting rid of them, and Guillermo has basically said that he's refused to take any responsibility for the troubles, and said that it wasn't basically not his fault in as many words. But yeah, it's good to see that well, again, I want to choose my words carefully, but it's unfortunate that it has to come to this for things to happen, for changes to happen in the games industry.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that at least the conversation is happening, and I'm hoping that this spurns some changes, or at least moves in the right direction, because, the thing about working in video games, and Tony, you'll know about this even more than us in terms of on the review side of things, and from us doing podcasting and being influencers or whatever you want to call us, is that people will bend over backwards to work in this industry, right? Like people love video games so much, and they just will, they'll put up all kinds of shit that you wouldn't necessarily put up with if you worked at a car place or a textile company or whatever. Like It's that video game mentality of everyone's like, well, video game industry is like my dream because I love video games and I want to be part of this industry and part of this community. I want to build things and I want to see other stuff and I want to make my own game and put my mark on the world, because the video game stuff is they're pieces of software, pieces of art, business. It's a big conglomeration, and so people have to work really, really hard at it, ridiculously so. And we've talked about crunch in the past and some of those things, but also, the fact that these people will put up with a lot of stuff to stay in this industry and not being a team player, and a lot of them are very vulnerable to that sort of stuff. It's really hard to see, because you want especially in the US where workers' rights are such a hot button issue, and you got at will employment and that kind of stuff that makes it really hard for when things like this come up, just say, hey, I've got a problem with this, or I want to stand up and be a whistleblower or whatever. It's like, well, guess what, buddy, you don't have a job. Like you're done, and the industry is small enough that you don't have a job here, and you're probably not going to get a job anywhere at any of the other big ones, because everyone knows everyone. So if you get blacklisted, that's a big problem, and you might never work in the industry again. As always bringing the light and lighthearted fun topics to the podcast. But I don't know, Tony, Cameron, you guys have any thoughts around what's been going on and what you've been seeing in both this Activision, Ubisoft, and kind of just the games industry in general?
Possibly not the best answer. I tend to avoid digging too much into that stuff myself. I have obviously heard about it and seen some of the stuff that's been said, and it is crazy what's been going on, and hopefully something does come of it, but it's permanent potential reputation damage, that's for sure. Beloved companies as well.
Yeah, and it's hard when it's like, oh, hey, you know, I love this company, or I love this series of games, or, you know, I love this stuff, and it's like, well, you know, like blood, sweat, and tears.
This is how it was made.
Exactly, right? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like you see how the sausage is made, and it's the most horrific thing you've ever heard of, right? It's like, wow, like people, like, you know, people literally, you know, losing their livelihoods and some of their lives in some of these cases, just with how these, you know, these game places are, what the cultures are like at these places, and it's
insane.
It's hard.
At the end of the day, like, we're all very passionate, as well as people, as well as the community around games. But everybody has the right to go into work, not be harassed, you know, have safe working environments, and that needs to be treated with the utmost importance.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes we, because the games industry is so secretive in terms of everything that happens behind closed doors, and, you know, similar to the other parts of the entertainment industry, but I think even more so on the video game front, because so many people are involved, that, you know, we just don't see a lot of this stuff. We see the end product, and we either like the game or we don't, and maybe we hear a little bit of controversy about how it got delayed, or how, you know, this company or this person left, and we speculate. But
the only time you seem to hear it is if somebody has kind of a backing, a standing behind them. Like, just to put an example in the entertainment industry, Black Widow Scarlett Johansson going up against Disney.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's stuff where she's just thinking, like, well, you know, suing for this because Disney's not upholding their end of the bargain for what they said they were going to do.
She might cut ties with Disney, but if any other employee was to do that in the games industry, it's
you probably would never hear about it. Yeah. It's you don't have that solidarity. You don't have unions. You don't have a lot of that stuff that is really, really important. Yeah. And hopefully, you know, they get there. But I'm glad Ubisoft are at least making strides in the right direction, because, you know, as much shit as we give them, they do make some pretty unique games in terms of maybe well, unique to them, maybe not unique, because essentially they do make the same 5 games with the same engine, but in terms of the scale of game that they make is something that we just don't see anything else. As CJ points out, yes. Is there any games talk tonight? Because he didn't realize he had to bring his lawyers to the conversation. You're 100% right.
All right. I'm getting told, move along, sir.
Yeah, fucking drop it and move along,
all right,
dickheads. Yeah.
Should we move on to a bit of Gears news, or should I say Coalition?
Yeah, so let's talk about the Coalition, mate, because you were putting me onto this, because, to be honest, when I see Coalition, my eyes kind of glaze over a little bit, and I go, okay, cool, another Gears game, whatever.
Essentially, it was like 2 quick bits of news this week. The Coalition started showing off what Unreal 5 is capable of, and oh my god, it looks amazing.
It does.
Other than that, I guess there's not really much else other than go watch the video and see for yourself.
Yeah, we could us describing it doesn't really do it justice in terms of the fidelity of what they're doing with their test footage.
It's more so, hey, we think you got, like, just bite-sized news. We think you guys should check it out because this is where games are heading. And like I've said it before, Coalition need to do something other than Gears, because, oh my god, I think it would be amazing. But I am also worried about achievement lists. True.
We don't need that spread. I saw the new Gears drop, and people were not happy about it.
I think Admiral and somebody else from AHA was just like, well, it sucks, but this was to be expected.
Unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, apparently the Coalition are working on a couple of new projects that they haven't announced. And this isn't an announcement. They basically were very clear to say this is a tech demo to show off some of the tech that we've been working with stuff we'd like to do. But this isn't us saying, hey, here's Gears 6 or here's whatever other game they're working on. I don't know. But it's interesting. Like, obviously, this is where it's going. And with Unreal, does they have a launch date for Unreal Engine 5? Because I remember they showed off a demo for it last year sometime. Had a lot of triangles involved, and there was...
Oh, was that the one in the cave?
Yeah, it was like Tomb Raider-esque, where it's like going between the thing, and like there was a lot of monuments and like really fast movement. It looked really, really nice, but they were like... And you're like, wow, this is really great. They're like, not available till like the end of 2022 or whatever. For main developers, Epic, obviously they'll get it first because they're making it. But
I can't recall, because Unreal Engine 4 was only 2019, right?
It might have been a little bit earlier than that, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was a few.
Unless I'm just thinking of Gears of War 5.
No, you will get. Yeah, most stuff was running on Unreal 4. Okay. Because Unreal 3 was the 360 era. So
Okay,
it's definitely progressed from there. But yeah, I guess my thing is that like anything running on a new engine like this is still ages away, and with the other delays that we've seen in video gaming stuff, in terms of because of COVID and because of work from home and because of all other kinds of factors, I think that this stuff is going to take even longer to come out, which is fine. Like it's not like we don't all have backlogs that we could work on in the meantime, right? But like it's always a bit weird seeing a tech demo for something that you have no idea when it's gonna come to fruition, if it ever does. I'm sure it will, because Unreal Engine is used by a huge amount of games for their base engine. But I'll get excited about it when I see it. I think is kind of where I'm getting at from that.
Like tech demos are cool, but like give me a game any day.
Sure. Yeah.
Hopefully that was a bit more gamey rather than
lawyery.
I mean, look, if you want a legal studies case, we'll get Keo back on the podcast. I'm sure it'll go great.
Oh yeah, sure. I could use a nap. I'm just kidding, Keo, mate.
I don't even know if he's on. Moving on. Forza Motorsport 7 is reached end of life status as of next month, as all games tend to do with September for Forza. Yeah,
turn 10, basically. They say, hey, you get a few good years out of your racing game, and then we're going to get rid of it, so make sure you buy the new one, I guess. I don't really understand.
Essentially, it's their third-party licensing with their like DLC and all that kind of stuff. Right, it's just a bit... It's just a bit disappointing that like Horizon seems to do such a good job of keeping things working.
Yes and no. I mean... Like,
Horizon, I can still get all the achievements.
Sure, but like you can't buy 3 anymore, right? That's gone.
No, you can't buy the DLC and all that. That of course, it's gone. But like, in terms of achievements still being obtainable and not discontinued because the server's breaking, that kind of stuff, like we've seen it with 5 and 6. I believe the servers still work, but they just don't give you the credits for like tunes and designs.
No, right.
So essentially, this is just a PSA of if you have Forza Motorsport 7, jump on it now. Especially the tunes and designs. I imagine multiplayer would be fine, but there is a 24-player race that you that's might want as well.
Need a few controllers for that.
Yeah, exactly right. Need to set up your
Oh, did you see last week? All right, 1, 2.
get my server farm going. Yeah, I don't know. Tony, you've been playing any of the Forza stuff, or you're interested in any of the Forza stuff?
I'm not a racer guy.
Good. Good.
I'll play them. I'll play most racing games. Forza, I don't know if I've ever played one apart from the Fast and Furious one because it was a 3-hour completion.
Classic, yeah.
Racing's just not really for me, other than like, the Crash Team Racing, the silly ones.
Sure.
Crash, Sonic, Nickelodeon. Yeah, the dumb fun ones. I'm not a huge racing guy myself.
No, totally with
you. But I always love the way they look, and like they're crazy to look at. Always watch their reviews and trailers and stuff, and it's always mind blowing with Forza, but just not for me.
They I mean they've had that ongoing mission of trying to make a pixel round, and they just get better at it every time, right? It gets round. Those tires are so round, and when they go over the water and they look slick, it's the best looking thing you've ever seen. But then you have to start driving the car, and then you just kind of fall asleep at the wheel. Unfortunately, at least in my case.
They're like visually flawless, but it doesn't drive me, if you'll excuse the pun there. It doesn't drive me to keep going. They always look.
Yeah, people know my opinion versus Motorsport versus Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon's where it's at. If I had to pick.
Playground does such a better game, better deal than Turn 10.
I'm still waiting for their horse carriage drifting events that they're going to put into the new Fable game. It'll be really exciting.
I'm wondering if they do something similar to like how was it 343? No, who did Halo Reach? 343?
No, Bungie.
It was Bungie. Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry.
Last one.
Did the little racing mini game in one of the levels?
Mm-hmm.
Just give me something like that in Fable. That'd be cool as.
Well, I mean, I was playing a game this week that I was riding a horse and I was drifting around corners, so I'll talk about that when we get to that. But it's
bit of Valhalla.
Not quite, but similar idea, right? Like it's
Oh, excuse me.
All right. Was there anything else, Cameron, you wanted to
Quick other things I was going to touch on was Games Gold got announced for August. You're looking at Darksiders 3, Yooka-Laylee, and I'm just drawing a pencil blank on the other two. Lost Planet 3.
Lost Planet 3.
And Guru Mark of the Wolves?
Yes, Guru Mark of the Wolves, yes.
That must be all Lost Planets now, is it? So I think they got 1 and 2 earlier.
I think so. I definitely remember 2 being in there.
Yeah, and I own... Yeah, 1 was definitely in there because the Colonies edition was, at least. Cause
because I've got them and I've never bought them, I don't think.
You don't need
Unless
to
they
play
were
them
like
either.
$1. Yeah, no, I've heard that, but I downloaded them nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta have them there. Have them there so you can hide them. Yeah, that's usually what I do.
That's right.
Free stuff that you'll never touch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun. And then the other thing... Where is it? Sorry.
You want to talk a bit about Halo?
I'm trying to... Oh, yeah. So 2 things with Halo. I'm not sure if I mentioned last week, but some of the stuff is breaking in terms of 360 services, in terms of file share for, I believe it was 4 and Reach, off the top of my head.
Yes, the file serving stuff is basically shut down, and that's all end of life. I think they said September or towards the end of...
Well, December's meant to be the thing, but I'm hearing from some people it might be a case of them testing to shut down stuff early, which hopefully isn't the case, because if people are already getting unattainables, that's not a good look on them. Yeah.
So hopefully that's just a blip while they're trying to sort things out.
In slightly more we can understand news, Halo Infinite had its flight testing, which I believe is July 29th to August 1st.
Yeah, I think it was more like a crash testing. I think is.
Yeah, aren't the bots like immortal or something?
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on with it because like everyone's. I've been hearing for the last couple of days is, oh my god, I got my invite to this thing and I want to jump on it. I'm like, I like Halo as much as the next guy, but the multi. Loading. Yeah, exactly. That's it. It was everyone went through the five stages of grief, right? They were like, okay, all right, I'm excited, and here's the thing. Okay, well, it's not working. What am I gonna do? Okay, maybe if I do it at this hour, it'll work. Maybe if I do this, and then you start getting angry and be like, what the fuck are they doing? Why isn't this working? And then they eventually just accept it and be like, well, it's a test. Shit's fucked. We'll just kind of deal with it, I guess, and see if they can get it working. But the people who have been able to get in said they're having a pretty good time, I assume. I don't know.
I don't know anybody that's got in personally.
That was the thing, right? Like,
I don't know if I do either.
Yeah, I haven't, like, of all the people I've seen talking about it, none of them. I'm glad that the game's exploding for them, and it looks really, really fun. I'm not really a competitive multiplayer guy. As people know.
So you're not going to jump in and get 1,047 matches won?
1,047 matches. I mean, if I can boost it, maybe. So, I mean,
yeah, I need to look into it because, in all honesty, the rest of the game's easy. It's just doing 1,000 matches, but it is enjoyable. So I could see this becoming like a Rocket League kind of do every night. I bet somebody.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like I think that like my only thing is like, is it going to have legs? You know, like I don't know if is it going to be like. Is it going to be like a Rocket League that people are going to keep coming back to, or is it going to be like
is the content going to be coming in and
yeah, are they going to be supporting it and are the developers going to be supporting it, and are the people going to be willing to jump onto it and play it and not get bored of it after 5 minutes, right? Because like I think it's going to have like a big initial push, but it remains to be seen if they're going to have that staying power. So we've seen a lot of games like that, right? Like that. What was that dodgeball one that you were playing?
Knockout City.
Knockout City.
Knockout City, right? Are you still playing that?
I haven't for a little bit, but it's just because there's so many games like coming up on my radar.
And I think that's the thing, right? Is that like we're getting into game season now. And I'm sure Tony is very well aware of that, right? It's
the last
Madden comes out in August, and suddenly there's the horn, and just the hordes of games just rush out in the holiday season.
Like the last week, there's been like 6 games that I want to play come out, and like even the graphics that I made on Twitter the other day, like 4 of them equated to $170 US that I've saved in Game Pass, and it was just like, and that was I'm trying to think of the 4 games. The Ascent, Psychonauts 2, like Flight Sim. Like there's so many good games coming out lately.
It sort of started this week, really, in my opinion, for what I refer to as new release season this week with these Game Pass ones. That's where I'll be starting them a week later. I'll start on Sunday, first official day of August, play some catch up. with that Blood Roots, and there's been some other good ones, hasn't it?
There's been Blood Roots, there's been Last Stop.
Pass,
there's.
but I'm looking for that Last Stop.
Yeah.
Last Stop, I believe Red said really good things about.
Yeah, I played about the first kind of maybe 30 minutes of it. I'm not super sold on it yet, but I'm still like in chapter 1, so we'll see. But I'll probably talk more about it next week.
Me and Aftos are going to start The Extent with Todd tonight.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, Extent looks really good. When's Psychonaut 2 coming out? That's a couple of weeks.
August 25th.
Cool, and then we've got Hades before that as well.
Yeah, Hades is going to suck my life away. Psychonauts 2, I'm definitely going to check out just for the invincibility mode. Easy achievements.
Yeah. Yes, I'll be using that too.
I may use it. I mean, like, I love Psychonaut. I love the original Psychonauts.
You say may, but then all I have to say is, what is the Meat Grinder, the last level of Psychonauts 1?
The Meat Circus. Yeah, if anything's like the Meat Circus, they can get.
And then it's immediately just going to be like, yeah, may as well just save myself the trouble, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they like I've said in the past, that game didn't have so much a difficulty curve as it did a difficulty dump truck in the last an hour or so, where they're like, oh yeah, relatively simple platformer, puzzles, that kind of stuff, a little bit of like combat and jumping, and suddenly it's like, okay, now you need to grind on 5 rails, jump here, make sure you don't miss this, okay, fight this boss, run away from this. Also, if you die, you go right back to the beginning. So it gets a little tough towards the end there. I'm really hoping that they do like a remastered version of that game, though. I think that with some polish, and a little bit of maybe rework on the camera and that stuff, because like that era of PlayStation 2 platformer really does suffer from a lot of the sort of control and technical issues around the limitations of the hardware that we kind of solved with the 360 onwards. That I really think would benefit from that, and like we saw that with like some of the like Crash Bandicoot stuff, with the PlayStation 1 stuff, and I'm hoping that sort of continues the trend.
See, I'm just glad that they're actually adding like a proper recap for the first game at the start of 2.
They're gonna need one
because it's been a long time, and like I would have gone back and played it if there was achievements, but I mean, there's no. It's such a bad thing to say, but there's no motivation to go and do it if I'm not going to...
It hurts to say, doesn't it? I've got a pile of OG Xbox games that I would love to go back to. Or play for the first time.
One of the best games ever made. Underrated gem. Like, chuck all these words across. Just like, but I'm here playing a Zidalon game because it has easy gamerscore.
Yeah.
So Psychonauts is so. I enjoyed Psychonauts so much that it was one of the few games that I went back and played on the OG, when it was on 360 as like an OG Xbox game. I knew it didn't have achievements, and I actually put the time in to go play through all the way up to the Meat Circus. That's how much I enjoyed that game, and like I really enjoyed the Tim Schafer writing and that kind of stuff. I'm hoping that another game like that was Beyond Good and Evil, but that did come out with achievements with an HD version, so I'm hoping that happens to Psychonauts at some stage. But I'm totally with you on that, like having to really push to play things that don't have achievements in them, because like we've got a Switch here. There's all kinds of stuff on the Nintendo front that I used to love on GameCube and that sort of stuff and earlier. But going back to it, I'm like, it's a hard ask when I've got 220 started games that I have to do, and I did the count this week as well for a competition for Back to Your Backlog 2 for the Xbox Cast guys. Where I apparently have 170 non-started games that I have to do.
It makes me think too, like if there was, if all the achievements counted across all consoles, if I could go and play a GameCube game now and get achievements, would I stick with Xbox? And I think I would, only because of Game Pass.
Yeah, well, yeah, if I still have my old library from when I was a kid, sure, I'd probably go over to the other platforms as well. But yeah,
I'd go back. Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion.
It's a good game. It's a really good game. There's 3 of them now, so.
I would still find myself on Xbox in that situation too.
For
me, it's the controller, the UI.
Oh, yeah,
and then now more than ever, Game Pass would convert me if I was on the blue team, 100%.
Yeah, totally.
I'd be jumping in the green for Game Pass.
Totally agree. I 100% agree.
But it's always good to have everything, right?
I mean, hey, like being console agnostic is great because you get to experience everything and you don't miss out on stuff. You know, like if I don't own a PlayStation, but like at some stage I might grab a PlayStation 5 once the exclusives hit that critical mass where it's like I really want to play all this stuff that I can't play anywhere else.
That's what I'm doing for the 5 too. I'm sitting here with my 4. I'm going to experience Godfall despite all the lovely comments. I can play it on August 8 on the PS4 without a PS5, so I'll keep just minding my own business on the PS4 until there's a healthy stockpile to put in some solid time on the PS5.
We haven't.
You might be able to find one.
And then got to try and find one first. But yeah,
didn't they have some kind of messaging today where it's just like something about the expandable storage? Well, it's only beta. If you want to actually do something, you may as well just go buy a second one. Like, what second one? Where's the stock?
Yeah, no, I think PlayStation's next PSA that they're going to put out is that if you want to go and pick up a new PlayStation, you actually have to go to the factory and assemble it yourself. But you still have to find the chips. You have to bring all the materials, but they'll supply the machinery for you, which is like, that's a really good deal.
We'll get one guy from out the back named Greg that's doing everybody else's consoles, but you're the prick that just a giant jump in line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you slip him a 20, and he's like, mate, look, it's a 500 minimum here. It's just the scalper's market.
Actually, that's another thing. Apparently, Big W here were meant to have a drop the other day at 10 a.m. of all these consoles. And some scalpers got into the back end, and then there was just like a picture of a Discord friend of all these confirmation emails.
Oh, yeah.
Big W just went, "Hey, we're gonna have to just delay this."
That's crazy. That's okay. Charlotte points out that building your own console is very much like going to a Stone Grill restaurant and having to cook your own meal. Yes, exactly. That's the experience I want. Is
the ability to burn my own console.
Exactly. Yeah, my ability to fuck up all of my enjoyment and waste all of my money. All right.
I guess we should move on to what we've been playing. Hey.
Yeah, let's just sort of speed through that. I will.
Oh, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll just quickly go first. I didn't have too much this week. I finished up 5 dates, which I talked a little bit about last week.
How did Alison feel about that?
So Alison thought it was very, very awkward. I also found it incredibly awkward. And
it is awkward, isn't it?
It's so weird. Like
I like it, but it's so awkward and sort of hard to watch, isn't it? Because you just feel for the guy, even though you're telling him what to say. It's uncomfortable at times.
And I was trying to figure out what it was, because I really enjoy the FMV games that Wales of Interactive have done before, right? Like the acting's a little bit naff, but like whatever, like it's fine. Like it's hamming it up a little bit, but I was trying to figure out why this felt different, and part of it is that it's a weird, intimate thing, but the other part is that, obviously you're playing this thing as like, okay, you build the characteristics of the person as you go through it, right? So when you're talking to the hippie chick Saffron, you're like, oh, I'm a vegan and like I'm big into like running and stuff, right, and all that stuff, but it's like, sure, like you're like, oh no, this is my character. I'm also really good at cooking, and like you say all these things. But then also you play through it, it's the same actor, he says similar lines, but you're like, no, I'm a meat eater, or I'm big into this, or I'm big that. Yeah. He sounds like a fucking sociopath. Like he comes across being like, I will say whatever it takes to get these women. Like
maybe that's a sequel. Maybe they're planning in advance. We could be looking at like Shape-Shifting Detective or Poe and Monroe.
I don't know. It just comes across like, it's like, yeah, no, I was like, oh, are you a really good cook? And you're like, absolutely, I'm a really good cook. Like it's the
I'm the best.
It's like when a movie role requires, like, do you know how to ride a horse? Of course I know how to ride a horse. Of course and you're like, never been on a horse in my life, but I'll say whatever it takes to get the role, right?
Maybe I need a message to that studio and just saying, are you leading up to this with a Cluedo based game?
Yeah, I mean, hey, sure. Like if there's the 5 dates in a murder sequel, I'd watch that. That'd be interesting. But like in terms of like the characters and stuff, it's fine, but it just feels really awkward, and like it's. Also, it was the same thing I found last week, where there's a lot of pauses between, because there's a timer for choosing
their
your
transitions
answers, right?
Is what kills them in all of their games, and 5 Dates is the one. Sorry to cut in, but it's the one of theirs that stands out the most, where it does not flow. It is like a collection of scenes, as opposed to a sort of continuous cinematic experience.
Even like Late Shift had that kind of same effect, but I feel like they were still able to pull it off pretty well.
But because the thing, and this is like I think what Tony's talking about, is that like, most of the time it's like, okay, you have scene at this location. We have a walking scene where there's no dialogue. There might be some dialogue, but there's no options. But this is basically like option, response, option,
Ah,
response,
okay.
option, response, and like it's like you can see the strings a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And it's just like yeah.
I'm trying to think of other similar games that have done it well, and I'm thinking like She Sees Red was a decent one where the transitions flowed.
Exactly. That was and that was one of their that was like an Annapurna one, right? That was really early on, and you can tell that it's quite rough. But
The complex.
the complex,
Complex is
yeah, the
good.
complex,
Nailed it.
yeah, exactly, because it was like it was just all the way through, and you just kind of
Just felt like a movie.
yeah, and you made a couple of decisions, but it was like it just kind of was like, okay, cool, straight into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the gold standard. So yeah, I got through it, but it was a very awkward experience. I also played one of the Vampire the Masquerade visual novels. I can't remember which one, but I think it was the Cody Aries. I meant to look up how to pronounce the word of New York. It was surprisingly good, actually. I've only done one playthrough of it. I ran out of time. Some other stuff came up, so I haven't gone back to it. It requires.
You played it properly?
I did actually play it properly. I mean,
How
like,
long did it take you?
To get through one, I took me maybe an hour or two. I was flicking through it relatively for like a playthrough. I was flicking through it relatively quickly, and I did the short playthrough first. So like I did the thing where I pissed everyone off and didn't do any of the side quests or anything, and just got like the worst result.
Yeah.
But like I enjoyed the narrative for what it was. I'd be interested to see. I'm probably going to just sort of take my time with it, because now that I'm not sort of rushing, it's like, okay, I can actually enjoy it and learn a bit about it. It's actually quite interesting. I mean, it's all dialogue. There's no spoken dialogue. It's all written. It's a very, very visual novel. But I enjoyed the previous one, but I think this one's actually a little bit better. I think it's a bit more interesting. There's a bit of intrigue and interesting stuff going on. But that's kind of the whole Masquerade stuff in general.
Have you done the Werewolf, the Heart of the Forest?
No, I haven't actually.
Werewolf the Apocalypse, yeah.
Okay, cool. That's on my list for sure. That's I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah.
And then we finally go back to GTA 5. Cameron, Martel, and who else? Oh, we had Panda. So we had our final heist that we had to do, and we did all the setup missions, and that went quite well. And we had a little bit of struggle with one of them that worked, and then we did the heist, and holy fuck, what a shit show! Jesus Christ, I get it. Like it was. So for those who don't know, the final heist is a big bank robbery where you essentially got to keep everyone in control, break into the vault, take the money, and then shoot your way out through the front door with a million cops, and then escape on motorbikes. So we tried the escape on we got to the motorbikes bit relatively simply. It was the escape on the motorbike bit that we got a bit stuck with. Especially when it came to, okay, drive up this hill, then drive off and launch your parachute to glide down to a dinghy. So we got right towards the end, and we had no lives left. I was driving towards it. The three of these are waiting for me. I'm driving. I'm off the cliff. I jump off, and instead of launching the parachute, I ragdoll, hit the ground, die immediately. Basically, my dead body flies down to the dinghy, and we have to restart the whole thing. It took a lot longer than I was hoping. Yeah. I still had a fucking great time, though. It was so funny. We eventually decided on the solution of
get into a cop car. And
basically everyone parked the bike, get into the cop car, and basically just recreate the What Is Love scene with the music pumping in the background. It was good. We were just sort of sitting around being like, okay, cool, Martel's going to drive us there. He did all the work. He drove us there. We managed to avoid all the cops. I was the first one to get into the dinghy. I drove us away, and I got platinum on it for some reason, so I'm happy about that. Everyone else was very upset.
And here you are just waiting for something else to happen. It's just like, wait, that's it?
I was like, oh, is this the big chase scene? It's like, no, that's the end, mate. You did your bit. You got in the dinghy and you drove it, 20 meters down the river.
And here there's like 20 cop cars behind us. It's like, they're out at sea now. It's fine.
It's fine, yeah. So they had helicopters and boats and stuff, but now apparently they're just fucked off. So
there was a few other times in that too where it was like, I just took the route of just basically going over the mountains, and that worked fine up until jumping on a bike with Martel. Martel decides to launch us straight off the mountain, perfectly lands himself, but for whatever reason throws me off the bike and kills me with no lives left.
To be fair, though, you also did on one of our setup missions get into the Jeep with a gun on it and drive straight off the cliff and die, which I really appreciate.
No, I didn't die. I didn't die that time. I drove it off the cliff. I nearly saved it, but I just completely...
You nearly saved it, and then you overcorrected and fucked it up. And I was driving the truck with the explosives in it, and I just got blasted out of the sky. So anyway, it's
a lot of fun.
It's one of those. It's a lot of fun. Like again, I'm not a big multiplayer gamer, so this is a fun sort of thing for me to be doing, and a good excuse to go back to it.
And Rockstar updated their message for the game that the servers are closing December. What, like a month and a half, 2 months after the announcement?
Yeah,
it's been a while now.
It has been a while, but yeah. So at least it's official, and they're telling everyone. So I've got 4 achievements left. 3 of them are attainable. So I need to get 25 platinum awards on the heist. I need to finish heist finale without taking any damage, which I don't know how you got and I didn't, because I was in the car and you bullshit. More like. And then I need to get 30 platinum awards. I think I've got about 22. So take a little bit of grinding, but I think we're comfortably going to make it in time for the shutdown. And fingers crossed, we get some update on that. That last discontinued achievement would be very, very nice to get that locked away. But we'll see. And then the last big thing I've been playing is Dragon Quest XI. So I got a bit of flack from this from Alex telling me that I needed to get my ass moving because I was about 30% of the way through the game, and I wasn't really enjoying it very much until I got to the end of the first act, because essentially it's a story where you are going from town to town, exploring the world, leveling up. It's an RPG. It's very, very traditional. Collecting 6 orbs so you can go to the heart of the world and grab a sword and defeat darkness. Very, very generic stuff. And then, like, at the end of Act 1, it takes a fucking turn. It takes a real turn. And I was like, wow, okay, this is a little bit different. Not totally unexpected because I played Dragon Quest VII, so I kind of had an idea that something might happen like that. And then there's a whole second act, and then you get to the end of the second act, you beat the final boss, it goes to the credits, you're like, hey, you've completed the game. But there's still some extra stuff if you want to like do side quests and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But the walkthrough has an Act 3 part. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I thought Act 2 was like a change. Act 3 is like, no. We're just gonna like completely left field this and just completely change it up and be like, no, we're gonna pull out all the stops and yeah, this just exists now. You can do this. We're just gonna change up some things. And now there's going to be a new calamity and a new final boss and a new, like, it'll change all kinds of stuff. And, you know, that unlocks the end game dungeon and a lot of the grinding stuff. And I'm actually having a really, really good time with it. Like, it took me getting past that first act to kind of get past the generic setup to actually get to what the real game was. For the story to really start developing, and when you start getting some better abilities and you start getting a bigger party, and getting some better equipment and just kind of having a bit more freedom because it's very linear to start with. I think it's actually a really, really good game. I've still got a little bit to do. I'm doing this. There's an end game dungeon that's 3 parts. I finished the first 2 parts, and there's a bunch of like, you know, mini game stuff, and there's some DLC that's included in the base game with the Xbox release, but wasn't in the original release, which is all like 2D stuff. So one of the fun things about the game is that you can play this game in 2D or 3D mode. So 3D is your standard, like, open world adventure. 2D is very much like a old school Dragon Quest style, like 2D sprite based everything. And you can play the whole game that way if you want. I imagine it's different in some ways and not in others, but apparently the last is like a big whole side quest stuff where you have to play it all in 2D and go through. Like, you do some time traveling stuff to go back to the old Dragon Quest games to, like, replay big moments from it, which I think is really cool. So I'm really excited to sort of play through a bit more of that. It's a really, really good game, but I'm about 50 hours into it now, and I've finally hit level 99 with all my characters, and I'm finally starting to get in-game equipment, and it's all starting to come together. But the walkthrough on TA, I just want to warn people, doesn't give you any strategies for the boss fights and doesn't tell you what level roughly you should be for an area. And I realized this when I got to the first in-game dungeon, and it was like, okay, you should be about level 65 at this point, and I was level 43. And I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm woefully unprepared for this. So I went and tried to fight the boss anyway, and it went about as well as you'd expect. So I had to go off in a whole different direction and figure out there's a whole grinding strat that you can do to get up levels quite quickly once you've got it set up. So I've been doing that, hit level 99 with everyone. But I would definitely recommend it. It's part of Game Pass. If you're into JRPGs, especially on the more like turn-based traditional front, it's a fantastic one. You know, it's no Final Fantasy X, but what is? But it is very much of that vein. It harkens back to that, but with some beautiful graphics, and that that Dragon Ball Z Toriyama art style, where everyone has amazing crazy hair, but the same angry eyes. But that's me for the week. I'm going to try and finish clean up some more of the stuff, but that puts me at 1,755 for this week, which is pretty pitiful, to be honest.
That's still pretty good.
Tony, do you want to talk a little about what you've been playing? You don't have to talk about literally every single thing, but anything that's interesting or is worth mentioning.
From the 213k madness.
Yeah, something in there maybe, or anything you've been playing since.
It's probably scrolling through the list right now. I think anybody who's interested in achievements is going to be very aware of the Zitalon stuff that I have played, and whether they are good or just good for gamerscore is probably a very weak debate. I enjoy them. I encourage it. I look forward to very many more of them in the future. But In Rays of the Light was definitely the best game that I played.
So what kind of game is that?
It's a walking sim.
Oh, okay, right.
But it's like a Russian university building or something, and it's there's air raid sirens and stuff, and it's all no characters, just you reading notes. The stories in the notes that you choose to read, and so are the clues to puzzles and stuff like that. But it's actually quite a surprisingly interesting and dark story with a ending that's somewhat up for interpretation depending on how people perceive it. But no, it's cool. It's cheap. It's published by Sometimes You, who are a friend of the achievement hunting community for the most part.
Not a friend of the game sharing community, unfortunately. But
no, they don't.
The achievement hunting community, at least.
They don't like that, do they?
No, they very much do not.
You can't do the dummy account. Have your main one signed in. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but like that game sounds 100% up my alley.
Oh, it's cool. It's like $15 or something for us here, so it'll be like 17 for you or something.
Sweet. I might check it out then, actually.
Pretty cool. And and if you do enjoy it, there's a stack, so keep an eye out for the other one in the sale. But yeah, I enjoy that one. The music's good, story's good, easy gamer score, and it takes about 45 odd minutes.
Great.
Which is good. But yeah, that and the Journey Down Chapter 2 and 3, the point and click adventure games. As a huge Monkey Island guy, those games are right up my alley. So I really enjoyed those. And since then, according to True Achievements, I done the Signal title update. Played a bit of Bunny Parking's title update. And I polished off the 2 Super Soccer Blast games, which you can pretty much simulate the seasons.
Oh, sweet.
So very easy completions. Don't really know if they're fun to play because I just got in, kicked all my goals, and then simulated everything. So my post-million really has just been replaying the Avengers, which I started last night. Again, probably talked about it last time. One of those people happy to die on the hill that I enjoy it. My 4-year-old, before he started playing Xbox a couple months ago, deleted my save. So
how does that happen in this day and age now?
Oh, because he wasn't playing the Xbox. I didn't have passwords set up because he didn't need it. He's been playing Minecraft and Roblox and getting into it, and he would just have a run around on Avengers, and I was there with him most of the time. He'd just fly around and got in one day when Daddy wasn't there, and all 7 of Daddy's characters completely maxed out, kitted out with legendary gear.
Oh god! Oh, that's painful. So you're excited for the new content drops, at least, I guess?
Yes, so I thought I'm happy to start again anyway. Thor's Endgame outfit came out today.
Yeah, that looked awesome.
It's amazing. It looks really good. So it was so cool being able to go through the story again, though, which only took about 8 hours, just like last time. No cutscene skipping. So I wanted to replay it anyway, but with the no achievements, since I already had them all, I sort of dreaded when I'd have to get back to it. But now that I'm a free man, the shackles of gamerscore are loosened for now. I enjoyed running back through that again in 2 sittings. Super cool playing through the story in endgame outfits and stuff like that. It was cool. But yeah, really, really ready for Black Panther on the 17th. They got quad XP going this weekend, so I'm going to make the most of that.
For sure.
Get everybody up nice and high and enjoy some Black Panther on the 17th. That's all I've played post-Million, really. And it's probably all I'll play until Sunday, and then I'm going to start Death's Door, Omno, The Forgotten City, stuff that came out this week. So play catch up for a week, and then get into all the awesome indie stuff coming in August. 12 minutes.
Oh, yes. I'm
certainly
so excited for that.
I've got so many more things I can list for what I'm excited to play in the next week than what I have played in the last week.
You've listed stuff that I've got access to, everything. I didn't know. I just got Forgotten City tonight. I'm so curious to jump into that.
Yeah. Is that Wine of Horror or something? I think it's called Horror Tales.
I saw two.
I'm butchering this.
Library of... I'm not sure if I'm butchering the name, but Runea? It's Ruina. That looks really interesting, and that's coming out August 5th as well.
Wow.
There's so many games.
As indie season in particular is now, like the next month or two for Xbox in particular, not even, Game Pass is getting a lot of it, but there's still a ton of solid ones coming around Game Pass. It's going to be mental. I'm really looking forward to digging into some of that. I can't even remember what's coming out on the indie front because there's just so many for the first time in ages that have excited me.
It's great, right? Like that's how it should be. We're finally hitting that critical mass, I think, which is I'm really happy.
There's always a drought before a downpour.
Yeah, like the only AAA I can name right now that I'm keen on is Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't even remember with all the delays and stuff as well. I can't even remember what's coming out this year, but all the indie ones, they're ingrained in my brain.
I think Far Cry 6 is the only one I was kind of looking forward to, but I don't think I will get that on day one either. There's just too much.
They were delaying stuff.
Yeah.
Recently, weren't they? Riders Republic again, and
Republic.
Quarantine or Extraction, whatever they renamed it
next
to.
year, yeah.
So Far Cry's going to hit that chopping block too, I think.
Yeah.
It's
already hit it twice, so.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a February 2022 release, because that's what I think. That's where it's supposed to be this year, right?
Yeah, February 6th or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aliens. Keen for Aliens.
Yes. Aliens looks really good.
Very ready for that. And Back for Blood is August as well.
October. Back for Blood's October. Age of Empires 4 is October. November's Forza Horizon 5.
I think the beta for Back for Blood is in August then. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, people started getting invites this week.
Yeah.
So, Back for Blood looks awesome though.
It's a great time to be in a 4 or 3 or 4 player cooperative fight or everything on the boards of things games, right?
Yeah.
I just don't think there's ever been a time where there's been so much stuff just thrown at us.
I think this is the craziest year that I can recall. Yeah. And that's because a lot of last year got pushed into this year, I think, as well.
Exactly. And also there's a big push to make this year a big one because they need to make up for last year. So there's like a lot, there's a big vested interest in selling consoles this year, the ones that are there, and making sure that there's plenty of support.
Well, the games are certainly there in my opinion for this year. I reckon it's been a pretty quality year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna see how much longer I can not buy stuff.
That's right. You've got that ridiculous. Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna last much longer. To be honest, I don't think it's. Yeah.
I think the safe thing from going on now is like any DLC that's coming out is going to be the purchases. I don't think I'm gonna spend that much money on anything if it's coming to Game Pass.
Sure. Yeah. There's so much good stuff in Game Pass that it's hard to like that's the first port of call, right? You're like, well, it's on Game Pass, I'll play it, and if it's not, then it's second.
Then they should have brought it to Game Pass. Well, I know that's an unfair statement, but
Yeah. We'll get there.
I'll get into what games I've been playing pretty quickly. We've already talked about GTA 5, Halo MCC. I'm down to 10 achievements.
Wow.
So
nice. So you're gonna be done tomorrow, right?
I'm debating whether there's just so many games that have come out this week though that I'm just like.
Get back to it, mate. Come on.
I want to?
10 achievements, mate. You'll be. Come on. Like there's that game has like 600 achievements to it. You got 10 left.
Yeah.
So off the top of my head, it's the 4 speed runs. Through 1 through 4. It is the Reach, Lasso, I think there's another miscellaneous I might need for Reach. I finished I finished up my grenades and my Killjoy medals with Steven. I need assists, which should be relatively quick, and then I think CE being the level keys, killing every elite, which I've gone through a few times, but I must be missing one.
It's easy to miss because that really sucks.
But yeah, I'm close. I think Halo 2 is probably going to be the one that gives me the most grief.
As it should be.
Does it have a separate list on Windows 10? No.
Yes, it does. But there's discontinues because the multiplayer's down.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Vudix can manage to convince them to put it back up online, because that's going to be the only one I'm going to touch that I haven't touched already. But yeah, no, I'm getting very close. Hawken, I don't know if I spoke about this last week. No, I think it was last weekend. I boosted with Valak, Red, and Mike. I jumped in late after the podcast meeting for GPN, and then just somehow got the first completion.
Oh yeah,
which is weird because I don't usually.
Were you the first to do?
No. Like as in first in the group. I rock up like 20 minutes late, and I'm the first one to complete it.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
That's the mech one, isn't it?
Yeah. The free-to-play mech one. Yeah.
Cheap Timefall.
Yeah, it's fine. It's an okay game.
It's good. But yeah, very easy to boost. We did in like I think 5 to 6 hours. Group of 4, not too bad. But there was people just constantly joining as well.
Oh. Okay.
So it became a case of just like, all right, stop for a second, shoot this one guy. Then it got down to the end when we were just getting people join like every single match, and it's like, all right, cool. We're going to Europe. We're going to North America. We're going to South America. We'll go to Australia. We'll do, and that's what spawned is Australia. Is Oceanic a country or is Australia the
my God.
continent?
Are you serious?
It was a whole discussion of just like, is Oceanic a country or is it
I'm not even
continent?
I'm not having this discussion. I'm not derailing the podcast for that. We'll be here for hours, and just ended.
The level of heightened reaction between
Yes.
Valak and it was between Valak and Kitten in that party, and it was just like, no, I'm betting my first born's life on this. Like, I'll die on this hill, and then I found a statement that pretty much proved both of them correct and incorrect at the same time. Put it in the chat. I'm just like, I'm gonna go and have a nap, guys. You sort this out. It's great.
I need to see this statement at some point because I don't think it exists.
I posted in the hey chat. It was great. Other than that, I did a stream of Flight Simulator the other day. Tempted what everybody else did was to like crash into your house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, by doxing yourself, great idea.
It's weird though. I could find my parents' farm. I think it scales, yeah. Bigger landmarks like golf courses, that kind of stuff, you can see clearly.
Big W, yeah.
The smaller it gets, the harder it is to locate. I could not locate my house, but I could locate my parents' farm.
I thought Big W was the landmark in your town, right? That's where everyone gathers.
No, it's Kmart now.
Oh,
okay.
right.
Sorry. It's so small that it is K Hub.
Okay.
In my hometown. But it was interesting. Like my hometown is a small town of 10,000 people. Their airport there is like, one of those tiny ass little 1-lane training plane kind of situations. So I went, all right, cool. I'll do a flight from Swan Hill to Mildura. And it was really just interesting to see, just going over regional Victoria. There was one that I tried to do in Indonesia for an achievement that just kept on crashing my game. So I think there's still a few more bugs to work out, but relatively speaking, it looks gorgeous.
I saw they've released some updates that actually caused some more issues rather than fixing them. Okay. So I don't. Yeah, so it's a little bit buggy at the moment, unfortunately.
I'm hoping that in a few months everything's sorted out. I might even get a flight stick if I got some money.
Well, the thing is that like the game's only going to get bigger, right? They're only going to add more and more places. Charlotte in the chat asks, "Is the Sky Tower? Do they not have the Sky Tower in Flight Sim in Auckland?" I actually don't know. I haven't checked it.
I know that when the game launched on Windows 10, there was an issue in Melbourne with one tower just being like astronomically larger, and people made an effort just to crash into it.
People, someone messed up one of the coding bits so that it was the tallest building you've ever seen in one space.
Yeah, just in the dead center of Melbourne, which is just great. But I'm very interested to do it a bit later on. Top Gun DLC will be pretty interesting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're gonna have like the fighter jets and stuff. Yeah, that looks really cool. Yeah. Make sure you do a nice scenic flight in New Zealand because I half expected that it's probably not even on the map as is usually the case.
I want to see what Invercargill's like.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
and I want to see if 40 minutes up from there, there's a tiny little haven called Gore, which is where my dad lives right now. I want to see if that even appears in there. And if it does, if there's 3 houses or...
It's weird. Like, I was flying over, I think it was Naples the other day, and it was just like, just taking in the scenery. It's just so
beautiful, right? It's,
like, and just, I never really think of, like, I've never been overseas. I've only ever had one flight in my life, and that's to Queensland, and just, I don't think of these other countries and their...
How'd you get back?
Shit. True.
Sorry. Clip that.
Sorry.
That's a top tier joke. I want to use that for.
All right. Sidetracking for a second. This was for a work trip, and usually my work trips revolve around a copious amount of alcohol. So I did return somehow, but if it was flight, I could not tell you. Actually, there was another restaurant general manager that they had an ambulance waiting for on the other side. I probably shouldn't be saying that because it's the whole franchise. It's like 50, 60 people, but there was one manager.
Now, I know that that's probably like someone radioed ahead to tell him that this guy wasn't doing well and they needed an ambulance. But I like to think that wherever this guy goes, they always just have an ambulance ready because they know he's fucking. They know he fucking gets into it. They're like, it's like, mate, he's gonna be like 10 G&Ts in, and just gonna be causing a fucking thing, and we probably need to get him. We need to get a stretcher ready for him in case his heart stops.
Oh.
But that's KFC for you, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's a good way to end that though. And Omno. If I'm pronouncing that right, I went, all right, cool. I'm just going to play a few games and stream. This looks like it's going to be a few hours of fun. So the games that released yesterday were The Ascent, Project Wingman, Omno, and I'm forgetting one other. I'm just trying to think what it is.
Would it Flight Sim, right?
No, Flight Sim was early in the week.
Oh, was it?
There was another fourth game that got added again. It was whatever that major. It's like Alpha League something or another.
Okay.
It's like a sports game. But yeah, I was essentially like, all right, I'm going to install these, give it a good go. Omo is like the most laid back, relaxed, just chill platformer I've played in like, I can't think of how long I've, waited to play a game like this. And it was just like, just chuck it on. All right, cool. In terms of the achievement list, I got to like the 3rd level and realized I had to restart over. Because as you progress, you have to get 100% every level because there is an achievement at the end of the game, which is 100% the game. Right. You don't have to worry about collectibles outside of shrines, like these black tablets with scripture on them, and just the light orbs. Like there is creatures that basically fill out kind of the codex. I don't believe you need all of them, but if you press Y as you're going along, you'll see if you're 100% of the level or not.
Right.
The only mechanic that I wish they had like a little bit more detail is as you interact with the environment, you get these like light orbs, like little fragments of light, I should say, that helps you. Like you'll get a certain amount of them, and you'll be able to like supercharge your character and all this kind of thing. It doesn't really have any added effects other than like a speed boost kind of situation. But then eventually, after you collect a whole lot, I'm trying to think, like an obelisk kind of signal will come up, and then you can go over to the obelisk in the level and actually get the light orb off the top of that. There's just no description of that in the game. That's the only.
Figure it out.
Yeah, you just have to figure it out, which you'll probably get like 2 levels in and be like me. Oh wait, I need to do this.
You need to go back to right.
Other than that, just keep an eye on miscellaneous achievements. They just have the name of the creature, and then there'll be stuff like there's these little little creatures. You do like surfing because you get a surfing kind of move after a snow level. You just got to surf around with them 20 seconds and they match the same speed. And it's just so cute. Like, I just loved it. Very, very different environments, very different creatures in each environment. Like, got like a Egyptian kind of level with camels, that kind of stuff. The swamp, first level you come in, the turtles, they're called Toodles.
Aww.
And I'm just like, all right, I just love that. And the rest of the game was just like Toodles in my head. But super chill, super relaxing. I believe one man dev that's been working on it for 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
4-hour completion. But like, if this is one of those games that you just cool, I just want to kick back after work, spend a few hours, like maybe doing one run or over 2 nights, and just really just take in scenery and enjoy the game.
Oh, next on my list then.
Yeah.
I'll do it. That sounds like 100% what I want to play right now.
Charlotte was watching me play it for a little bit last night, and yeah, the animals were like super adorable, and it's just from my take in the game, I think it's meant to be like more of a pilgrimage kind of adventure.
Well, from the way you're
chill.
describing it, it reminds me a lot of Journey on the PlayStation back in the day, and that's sort of like a lot of like not a lot of descriptions and not a lot of like stuff, but a lot of visual stuff that you just kind of figure out by looking at it and just kind of by exploring.
Yep. Other than that, that's pretty much me for the week with 3,465.
Fantastic. So that's not bad.
Is that gamerscore?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think we talked about your game score for the week, but that's okay because we have a segment.
We don't need to.
We have a segment called Hall of Gamers Leaderboard, which will basically cover it for us.
That's all we need. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you want to get onto the leaderboard for Hall of Gamers, you just need to log onto TA and send a request over to me. I accept them usually pretty quickly. We'll chuck you on the leaderboard. I think it's like at 50 people now, which is amazing.
55, I think, or something.
Oh, 55? Oh, sweet.
And to maybe attract new people to it, the top spot is going to be up for grabs. So you can fight your way to that. It's no longer going to be a ridiculous number.
Our number one from last week has dropped to number 2. So we had, I don't know if I'm going to butcher this, but Chapster? It's Chapter, but with X instead of an E.
Ah, my boy.
Yeah.
Just call him Chapter.
Just Chapter? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got himself a laptop, so he went a bit mental, I think.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
So 55,650 for the week.
Good on him.
Fucking
My
insane.
man.
We have you then at 37,460.
Oh, it's disgusting.
And then we have our probably one of our next 1 million, Red 047 at 17,945.
Just Jeremy himself, another one of those people who got on the achievement name list, although with his real name instead of his gamer tag for some reason.
Yeah, that hurts.
Very, very funny. But so now we just go around saying, "Who the fuck is Jeremy?"
I just love the parties he's in. Just like, oh, this Red guy is like, he's such a top bloke, but fuck Jeremy. Like, who the he's like, who's like, anyway.
Well, you know us, we're all about running jokes into the ground, so.
Yep. No, it's been pretty good. But yeah, like I said, if you want to get on the leaderboard, just send us a request over at TA, and hopefully we can read out your name soon. I think with that, we should probably move into the questions.
Yes.
You do first one, I'll do second one. Cool.
Sure. So our very own Charmander, who's in the chat with us at the moment, asked, where do you see yourself in 1 year, 5 year, and 10 year in terms of gaming and Xbox? Do you have goals or just sort of aspirations and dreams? I mean, I think in a year I'm probably going to be pretty much where I am now, except with a slightly higher gamer score and hopefully a slightly smaller backlog. That's always the goal, right? Is to do better and have less to do. Whether that's actually going to happen, I don't know. 5 years? I mean, 5 years we're going to be, we'll be talking about next gen and that kind of stuff, and who knows where things are going to be and what Game Pass is going to look like, and what the company's going to be looking like, and a lot of it hinges on the next couple of years in terms of what hits it big and what doesn't, in terms of what way the industry goes. I mean, there's so many changes that can happen in 5 years. I don't even know. And then 10 years, I mean, by that stage it'll be Mad Max around here anyway. It'll be the water wars, and it'll be we'll all be mining out the the Amazon asteroid and fighting off the Nestle bandits.
I think somebody asked me the other day, has Australia ever done a version of The Purge? And I'm just like, haven't you watched the Mad Max movies?
I mean, that's basically what's pretty much right. That's the Outback. But I don't know. I mean, for me, in terms of Xbox stuff, yeah, like I don't see myself stopping. I mean, 10 years is a long time. I mean, I've been doing this since 2007, so I don't see myself stopping. But you know, if every 100,000, I think, is this where I just basically call it, and it hasn't happened yet, but it might do. It really depends on the way the industry's going. I'm not a huge fan of having to play all these Eidolon games to stay competitive, which is why I haven't really been doing too much of it. I've been more on the cleanup duty stuff. But you know, if I start getting towards the end of my backlog, that's when I'm going to have to start considering what I want to do next, I think. Tony, what about you?
What was it? 1 year, 5 years?
1 year, 5 years, and 10 years.
So 1 year, I'm looking at it now. There is 550k between me and that sweet number 1 spot. So I need to decide fairly quickly if I'm going to act on that.
Mephisto's not going to give that up easy. You know that.
I know he's not. I've had a stalk of his list. It's going to be hard, but I don't know if I'm going to just outright say I want to go for 2 million. Don't know if I want to do that. I definitely want to have a crack at trying to catch up to number 1 at least. Definitely want to hit 1.5, but by the time I get there, I'll be like, 200's not that far, or 2 million's not that far
yeah,
away.
no, exactly right. It's you do 100,000 at a time. You're like, actually, it's not pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's so hard to say, because now I do really want to, and I really hope I do stick to it, hitting some of the backlog, getting through the BioShock remasters and stuff that I've bought and played like 2 or 3 hours of, just shelving them for later because I know I've played them once and I don't have the time to go through them again. So I really hope I do sort of slow down a little bit on the gamerscore for the next year and actually enjoy the backlog that's waiting for me to look after me for the next 10 years probably.
Yeah.
So 1 year gamerscore, probably I'd be happy with 100,000, but I know I'll probably change my tune come January when all these Eidolon updates hit again. It's hard. Yeah, so I probably plan to chill out for the next year. 5 years from now, I would like to think gamerscore is almost forgotten about, and hopefully I can be playing a lot more and doing a lot more with games as far as reviews and doing other things.
Yep.
5 years from now, I'd certainly like to be doing more than playing, and I'd like to not have the time to be playing things just for gamerscore. And I would probably extend that one to the 10 years as well. I'd like to think my gamerscore days have an expiry date of about 5 years before I sort of just let them be an afterthought. A guilty pleasure every now and then, you know, a cheeky update here and there. I think I'll put the hunter hat to bed around 1.5 million though.
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah,
Cameron,
and then that's it.
I mean, in terms of like the 1 year, in terms of my relationship with gaming and Xbox, personally, I just want to get a community manager position, hopefully for something like a small indie. I mean, some of you know that I've been trying to work towards that at the moment. Essentially, in terms of gaming, I'm not really in any rush to hit 1 million. Like, it's going to be one of those things that when I get there, it's an accolade, and we're going to make sure that I try and hit it close to on the point. I'm not going to...
What, you're not gonna butcher it and get 10 over?
I'm not gonna care though if I miss it.
I hope you get 1,000,001.
Yeah, that's exactly what
I do. Yes, I'll do what Kirby did.
Do a Kirby, yeah, exactly.
I'll just completely butcher it, and you'll all hate me. It's fine.
That's why I have to find a new host.
But yeah, in terms of it, like, to me, I'm not all about the rush. I purely just, when it happens, it'll happen. Like, I'm closing on 600k now. It's more so just experiencing as much games as I can, and you know, communicating to others about like how I feel about it, how we can improve. I mean, like, there's so many things in the achievement hunting community that could be that could be addressed and are being addressed from groups like the Achievement Initiative, getting discontinueds fixed and unobtainables fixed. Just past that though, yeah, in terms of it's solely getting a job in the industry. 5 to 10. Nikita has plans to hopefully start, working as a programmer and making her own game. So eventually it's probably going to be a point of working as a couple and trying to, start to churn out some indie games and working in that kind of environment. Gaming's played such a major part of my life. I know that I'm never going to give it up. Whether that makes me stick with Xbox or not, I don't know. In terms of relaxation, I'm always going to go with achievements though. Yeah, there's a lot of ideas that me and Nikita are throwing at each other, and it's basically just like, all right, if we're at day one, like, how do we get to here? In terms of me dealing with a production and a communication and marketing standpoint, and her doing programming and design.
Okay, so just me being stagnant as fuck and then being killed for my blood. Cool. That's good stuff. Charlotte says, yeah, here's me wanting to hit 50k by the end of the year. Sure, Charlotte, but to be fair, you did just start, and also you do not play trash. I mean, you do play some short stuff, but you do not play trash. I haven't seen
that's the thing. At the end of the day, like, I know that I'm not grilling myself to the point of like I'm not hating my experience gaming, and if it ever gets to that point, that's when I'll be like, I need to stop with these kind of games. But
you need to be reassessed. Yeah, I totally do.
Yeah, I purely think it's going to be a case of I want a good mixture of AAAs, shovelware, and indie darlings.
So it's all about balance.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I find it.
All right, I'll read into the second question if you want.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Isaac wrote in, "Hey guys, I was reading that the Steam version of Where the Water Tastes Like Wine has an he's put obtainable here, but I believe he meant unobtainable.
Unobtainable.
Yeah, cool.
He did, yeah.
That was included on purpose. The developer said that the game was a statement about life in America, and that the place where water tastes like wine is unobtainable in real life, therefore should be unobtainable in the achievements too. People on Steam are really upset about this, obviously. There are rules against that on Xbox, so the game appears to be completable on Xbox. Still, what do you think about developers trying to send a message through their achievements like this? Thanks for the show."
That is savage.
It's fucking savage.
First thing I read, it's absolute savage. And
I think it shouldn't be allowed to, I don't think, even on Steam. Make it worth 0.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's got to be unlockable, but surely you cannot put an unobtainable in by design.
I mean, like, this is not a perfect comparison, but like I'm not allowed to just go out in the street and cause complete anarchy. Why shouldn't those guys?
Definitely not a perfect analogy.
Cats and dogs living together, it's madness. This actually reminds me of the Stanley Parable back in the day, where it has an achievement that you cannot unlock, and it tells you that you cannot get it. It's like, this is an impossible achievement to unlock. People have unlocked it because Steam doesn't have really good controls around their achievement unlocking systems, and people can just go in and do it, right? That's why it's much more of a closed loop on the Xbox side of things. But man, I think, yeah, you're right. That's fucking savage. That's ridiculous. I'm happy to have your unlock conditions or your achievement name or achievement stuff or achievement art or anything about the achievement to be about a message, right?
Yeah.
But fucking with the system is just
intentionally breaking an aspect of the game
is just,
even though it's a minor aspect. That's weird.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure that hasn't done them any favors in the comment section.
No, yeah, exactly, right. And like, how far up your own ass you fucking need to be like, no, it's a statement on this bullshit. And it's like, mate, just say you broke it, just move on with your life. Just come on. just say you can't figure out how to fix it. We'll just admit it, mate. Someone will fix it for you. But yeah, like I think it's pretentious as fuck. And I'm not about, like I try not to, I try to fucking be somewhat open.
Let your game send the message. Don't let your
exactly.
Don't lean on somebody else's systems to send a message.
Yeah,
do your own.
The achievement system can be used for fun stuff like that. Like I remember, what was it? Deadpool, right? The first two achievements, whereas like they reference the achievements and stuff, and like it's very self-referential, and like the first one's free, and then you wait, and like has good comedic timing, and they obviously worked around it. Like that's using it to its full extent, right? Actually integrating it into the game itself. Whereas this is just kind of feels like just being a dick.
I still feel like there's other ways to go about this. Like you could start off the game like, all right, you pull this lever, you get the achievement, but for the rest of the game, you're walking around with a broken knee. If it's a walking sim, like,
sure, whatever.
Like if you want to really go to the length of sending a message, like do it in some kind of system like that. Don't make a game uncompletable. What are you saying that in life in that regard is uncompletable?
Yes, that is what it's saying. Yes. The game itself is quite interesting, although not. It's not. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's an interesting idea.
It's one I've always had on my radar to get around to at some point.
I mean, like it's just a PSA to how to turn the waters to wine, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised we haven't all picked this up already.
Yes, that's exactly. It's basically an instruction booklet on how to be Jesus. They're going to bring out a sequel about water walking in a couple of years.
Isn't there that game coming out called Jesus?
Yes, there is. Oh my god. Yes, there is. There is the.
I'm kind of keen for that.
Yeah, it's actually that would be a good 2 million, wouldn't it?
I am Jesus or something. I think.
Exactly.
Or I am God. I can't remember. You know the game I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go around like healing people and stuff, and it's super fun.
Ooh, now
So
okay. There's a lot of achievements that I could use
hole.
for 1 mil, but just like, what's the worst, most offensive statement I could make for 1 million achievement?
If you unlocked my achievement, I would find that offensive.
That would be very funny, actually. Yeah, I have to write that one down.
Right on a million.
Yeah, exactly.
That would cut me.
The only reason I don't like Restless what is it? Is it Restless Night?
Restless Night. Yeah.
The only reason I don't like it in that regard is like we're just gonna have a whole bunch of people popping up 1 mil gamer score using that. I don't want it to.
I've seen people using it with milestones, and I got kind of annoyed. Like when they were doing it before, I was like, I want to at least be the one that gets the million with it. I think I've claimed that one.
Yeah, I think that with 1 million, you need something that's unique to you. And like, if you're the first one to do it, that's fine. Yeah. I think all the other achievement hunters then should be like, all right, I need to be a little bit more creative,
It's been done.
do a little bit more homework, because if we're gonna have a whole 55 people,
50.
50
49.
49, yeah, sorry.
One guy got 2 of them in there somehow.
Okay, look, fair enough if he does it twice. Fair enough.
No.
Does it twice? No, fuck him.
No. If there's two,
Look, let him get to 2 mil, and he can do it twice.
If there is 2 in there, the name attached to it needs to be Bill's Nation, and we all know it.
Yeah,
Represent.
yeah, exactly. You're right.
That's
You're
fair.
right. 100%.
But yeah, I think it should be a case of like people just need to be a little bit more creative with their achievement names. We had Sangrias on Real Gamerscore. Get what was it? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, which was pretty good.
Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I thought about that too
That's a
when
good
I was
one,
looking
yeah.
through a list. I played a game, I can't remember what it was. It was the day before when I was setting myself up. It was I think the achievement was called Godlike, and the description was reach a godlike status, and I thought that would be a pretty cool one to get.
I wouldn't mind in future. Actually, I might put out
But almost too cliche.
almost, but
the
still,
same
like,
time.
fuck it. Like, why not, right? Like,
I might put a question out on Twitter. The people that have hit 1 mil, what did they hit it with? And then one of the future episodes in the show, we can go through people's lists and
be interesting to get an idea of it, because now we've got a lot of people who've done it. So
What's that card in Uno where it turns the
reverse
reverse card,
back on
the
you?
reverse
Yeah.
card.
See, like that's what I would say I got. I got hit with the reverse card.
Yeah, you
on
said-
a
yeah.
10G achievement.
Yeah, exactly. They fucked you on it. Yeah, exactly. Surprise. Yeah, because I did dive kick for my million, because it was one of those games that no one played and I just loved and I thought was hilarious. And I got the achievement I got was Grinder Supreme for my million, and I thought that was pretty appropriate.
Grinder
So,
Supreme.
yeah,
Not bad.
for playing like 2,000 ranked matches.
Yeah.
I double boxed for hours because it's so slow. But yeah, I thought that was appropriate, so that's kind of why I went with it. But yeah, it's always tricky trying to find the game, because I always try to do 100,000 with an interesting game or something that's strange, and so I got to start thinking about what I'm going to do. Usually a terrible game. If God, what was the one I just did with the stealth kayak bullshit?
What's the cover for it? Because it's like
it's the guy with the
you and Valak were talking about it, and I've lost it. But the cover art is like it's a kayak, yeah.
It's a kayak, but it's not in the game.
And it's not in the game, yeah.
No, yeah. Anyway, it's absolute trash. But anyway, I think that's hopefully that answers your question there, Isaac. But I think that pretty much brings us to the
Unobtainable's bad. Obtainable's good. That's the message.
Pretty much. If you want to get in contact with us, best place is our Discord, discord.io/gpngg. We're on there. We've got our own area set up, like we said. We ask questions, or if you want to just chat shit, basically. There's other channels in there for GPN in general in terms of, we've got a meme channel and cute stuff. And it's basically Charmander and I shit posting all day with Athos jumping in every now and then. So we want to get some more people in there. I'm sure it'll get more populated as the site launches and stuff. So if you want to claim that spot, get in there. We've also got our Twitter at GPN Hall of Gamers, where you can find all of Cameron's questions and his shit posting, of which he does a lot of.
I'm getting better at it. They're prettier now.
Yeah, no, he's done some good work. It's some quality stuff. He'll start making his own GIFs soon enough.
How did you come up with the you're expecting situation? I've got to ask that.
Okay. So
it's so weird.
There's a server that we frequent called AHA, or Achievement Hunters Anonymous, which is run by our friend Reptar on Ice 3000 or 300.
So not super anonymous then.
Yeah, not super anonymous. Yeah,
everybody.
But yeah, we got a few good friends in there, and Red is pretty much one of the bigger people in that Discord, as I like to say he would be. But there is two different brag channels.
He certainly thinks so, yeah.
Yeah, there's two different brag channels. There's the humble brags, and then there's the sad brags. Humble brags is for your perceived decent completions. Sad brags is your 0 to 1 hours, your easy stuff and that. And
my list.
Yes. So, stuff that you want some clout for, but you also feel like you should be embarrassed about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So pretty much every day, if you log into Sad Brags, you'll see a few posts by Red, and it's a bit of a running joke, and we all love it. But essentially, he's just like we had a talk about you coming on this week, and I'm just like, all right, we'll have to get you on a future episode because surely you're not far off 1 million. He's hit, I think, 920,000 or something in that ballpark.
Yeah.
I said if you push, you could easily get it in like the next month or two.
Yeah.
That's if he hasn't cleaned up all his hits and Radalakas and all that already. But
I think he has dealt with
it. He's done it quite a bit, yeah. But essentially, I'm like, all right, I can't sleep. I've been mucking around with, I'm working on content creation because I want to get into a community manager thing. Let's just, mess around with some software and see what I can come up with. And I'm like,
And the best idea was he's pregnant with 1 million gamerscore coming soon.
Come on, you had a laugh. You had a laugh, yeah?
It was funny. It was funny.
It is kind of clever and a silly, but kind of... It is fun. It is a fun little thing.
He's not going to listen to this. So what you need to do is when he hits the million, you need to basically do an animated GIF of the chest burster scene from the original Alien with the Xbox logo over it or something.
Well, I mean, we were having a discussion what he was going to use the other day to hit his 1 mil with, but I think it'll be very interesting.
Castle of No Escape 3 probably.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who it was the other day. Somebody started putting their series completions as Zitterlon. Series. And this is after I discovered that you can only put 6 with Pro and TA and 3 if you're on Basic.
Yeah.
And I've been working this year just like, all right, I just want to get all the series completions I can and just present them on TA. I'm like, really wish I knew that.
Well, you get the first 6 in there. Anyway, we're ending the show. Shut up.
That's my bad.
No, that's fine.
Email GPN Hall of Gamers @gmail.com. If you want to ask us questions, do so on Twitch or in the email. We appreciate Isaac every week because he usually asks some really good questions, and we appreciate Charlotte too for moderating the Twitch chat for us. She's doing an amazing job. And we appreciate Alison for rocking up.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, sweetheart. Yep.
I was surprised I didn't hear anything there, but anyway. Individual contacts, I will go first. Twitter, @Shadowless Edge. TA, Shadowless Space Edge. Xbox, same thing. you know where to find me. Come talk games. That's pretty much all I do. And I'm streaming now because I want to show off some of the amazing stuff that's in Game Pass. Pretty much going to work on the Accent this week a little bit. I know it was really good last night. And yeah, pretty much that. Bob's your uncle. I'm off.
Cool. Tony, what about you?
Twitter is where I am most active, and that's at GamesOfDAYNE815. Facebook is just GamesOfDAYNE. Xbox and PlayStation, if you're that way inclined, is just GamesOfDAYNE, all one word, no spaces. Feel free to add me and stalk my list for easy achievement completions. One thing I did forget to mention is, Cameron alluded to it earlier, on Twitter I did create a thread and pinned every achievement completion on this mad rush to 1 million, listing the time it took me, as well as the guide, and giving credit to the content creator. And I am going to compile all that into a more accessible, user-friendly way to help others on their own roads to whatever milestones. And you can see that sort of stuff at gamesofdane.com.
I'll retweet that after the podcast if you guys want to actually have a look through and shout out Tony and some of the other amazing content creators on there.
Yeah, it's been really, really good, and I think that they really appreciate that too, and it's a good roadmap, and it's great to see. I've been curious going through it as well, actually, just being like, oh, actually, there's some stuff in there that I haven't looked at yet.
Collaboration, not competition.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
let's all share the space.
A bunch of ideas of ways I want to help in the future, which Cameron knows a little bit about, which we will not be discussing at this time.
That's fine.
Sorry, adding only updates to get you to 1 mil. What?
Yeah. I was be taking any questions at this time.
I was so surprised when that Cruise Brothers update dropped that there wasn't a achievement in there just for you. I was just banking on it.
I think there's probably an unspoken agreement that there will be nothing named after me.
Yeah.
Any chance I had there's gone as of this year.
Right, yeah. And then so for me, if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter at Neomaster2005 for whatever reason. I use Twitter just to stalk other people, so you don't need to follow me if you don't want to. Otherwise, Neomaster on True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. Discord is the best place to get a hold of me if you want to hang out, talk about video games, unless you're a fucking weirdo, and you know who you are.
Wait, we got more than one now? Oh, yeah, we got two.
We got a couple of them, yeah.
Red and...
yeah. I wasn't going to name names.
We love all members of the achievement hunting, especially you.
But yeah, I think that's going to wrap up our episode. Thank you again to Tony for being here. We really appreciate you coming back on with us and joining us on our new show.
Quick,
yes.
Oh, sorry, you finished?
Okay, thanks, Cameron. I'm just trying to thank our guests for giving us time and being here for us, and being a guest on our show.
I appreciate you, but I thought you were closing out the show, and I also needed to add one more thing in.
Okay, yes.
Because you forgot.
I had to shout out the music, yes.
It didn't sound like it.
Yeah, I was just about to. It says, Jesus Christ. Cameron, I'm fucking doing the show here. Shut up. And as always, we need to shout out Carl Casey and White Bat Audio for the music that we do for the Twitch, for our background music. We really appreciate it. It's been good. We got some good responses. People like the synthwave stuff, which is good because I love it. And the audio listeners are going, hey, how am I missing out on synthwave? Yes, you are, because I do not put it into the podcast. So if you want to hear it, go watch the VOD or join us live here where you can ask questions and post as much as you like. Yeah. Unless you're posting links or you're a piano, in which case you're going to get banned by Nightbot. Anyway, we've been running this for too long, so I'm going to go. I need some sleep. It's 11:30 at night here. That's the episode 003 of the Call of Gamers podcast. Thank you all for joining us. We will catch you guys next week.
See you then. Bye.
Peace.
See you later.